G'day, welcome to Country Music World. I'm Mick.
And I'm Jay.
On today's episode of Country Music World, we're going to take you down to Sydney, New South Wales and talk to the busiest guy on the planet.
That's right, Mick. This guy is a producer, he's a songwriter, he plays drums, bass, guitar, just about anything you can think of, really.
He teaches a lot of young kids too, mate. He's been a professor at university. He's a mixing, mastering, engineering expert in a recording studio. He's a filmmaker. He's an author. He's an editor. There's nothing he doesn't do.
Subscribe to the channel, like and share the post, sit back, relax, and let's get to know a little more about Michael Carpenter.
All right, Jay, so let's go across to Carp, who'd be tucked away down somewhere in the big city of Sydney. We got you online, mate?
Hey, mate.
Yes, I'm here. Thanks a lot for having me.
No worries, man. Pleasure. Thanks for taking the time out of your day, and welcome to Country Music World.
It is great to finally be here. I'm really looking forward to it.
I know, mate. We're looking forward to this chat too. Now, Carp, you're probably the busiest human planet person that I think I've ever met in my life, and a lot of people will be able to giggle right now when I say that. But let's talk about the right in front of us on the charts at the moment, in everyone's ears and everyone's eyes. The three things that you're doing, which is just scratching the surface, but we've got the Cuban Hills, the April Family, and you've teamed up with Alan Caswell. So, man, tell us about these three things that are happening right now.
All right, mate. Look, I'll give you the briefest version as I possibly can. The first thing is the Michael Carpenter and the Cuban Hills project. It was a project I started about 8 or 9 years ago with a bunch of my best mates who are some of the best musicians that I know. We were playing in a lot of bands as sidemen or in covers bands or just filling in or whatever. And we got to know each other. Some of us, like Charlie, our bass player, we go back about 20 years. So we gotten to know each other pretty well. And it seemed ludicrous that we were playing in all these other people's bands, but we didn't have an original band where we were playing together. So I started off the whole project. I kept on saying to a lot of my clients in the studio that somebody needed to record a cover version of that Australian Crawl song, "I Know Not You Again," as a country cover. And people just kept on going, nah, whatever. So finally I thought, I'll stop this. I'll just put these guys together and we'll go into the studio and I'll just have a side project. And like a lot of people kind of say, what's with the Cuban Hills? And the whole idea about it was supposed to be just a fun side project. We didn't really think that it was going to turn into anything. But we're a really good bunch of guys and good musicians, and really instinctively that first session we went in there and we cut 8 songs in about a 7-hour session, including the Australian Crawl song. We had like a 4-month break and then went and did another 8 songs and released them as 2 separate EPs. I think they were 5 or 6 songs EPs. And then we had like 18 months off and went back in and did another bunch of about 7 songs, and out of that came the first record, which is called The Incomplete Cuban Hills. Then JD, our keyboard player, moved interstate for a few years, and so we put a little one real had going on. She came back to Sydney at the start of last year, and we got together and did a gig about 12 months ago, realised that things were pretty much the way that they were, and I kind of just thought, great, let's do the next record. So I wrote a bunch of songs, and we started recording it about November last year, and we finished it off in about February this year. But because I've got a lot of releases, we kind of staggered the releases a fair bit. So I went out to my crowdfunding supporters about 2 or 3 months ago, and it came out officially over the last couple of weeks, with the first single, I Should Have Told You, coming out probably 2 or 3 months ago. So that's the Cuban Hills.
I can see why everything happened fast for Carp, because that was just like, whoa.
I mean, have you got any questions about the Cuban Hills there, boys, or should I just move on?
I think you probably just nailed it. So tell us about, so you said this was a pet project, and essentially this is a group of guys, they're just your favourite players, right, in Cuban Hills. So
Something I had to ask anyway, Michael, was so the Cuban Hills, is it a country style thing, or because you do a lot of different styles as well? So
the whole point of the Cuban Hills was to draw a really clear line between like its hard pop stuff, which is what I'd always traditionally done. And I've kind of alluded to kind of Americana, Steve Earle, kind of Buddy Miller sort of things in that, but never really gone fully into that because I didn't want to freak out my guitar pop, jangly pop kind of audience, which there wasn't many of them, but they're quite, they're really about part of me. And so the Cuban Hills was supposed to be a bit of a line in the sand. And the other thing about the Cuban Hills, on my solo records, I tend to play pretty much everything. But on the Cuban Hills, I don't play very much at all. I play acoustic guitar and I sing, and that's pretty much it. And the whole point of it is to get those guys on record. Like, I don't want anybody to think that I'm taking control of that part of the project. It is very much us. You know, we are a band, and it's quite funny. A lot of people think I'm a bit of a control freak from that point of view, but I love being in the studio with those guys because they come in and say, "What do you want me to do on this track?" And I just go, "Just do what you do." I mean, Charlie, our bass player for this record, he couldn't really make it into the sessions when we were doing them, so I let him just do his bass parts at home. And I didn't instruct him once, I think. He just knows. And again, that's one of the things, guys, you both know you get from playing with people over a long period of time. There is that thing of the experience of playing with people where they understand what the parameters are. And so these guys are very respectful of what the rules of being in the Cuban Hills is all about, and they play into those rules. And the rules are just do whatever the hell you want. I mean, we're not selling few records here, so I don't have a record company that I have to cow down to or anything like that. We just make the record that we want to make, and I encourage these guys to be the musicians that they want to be on these records. Having said that, you know, there's 3 songwriters in the band, and they all know what it's like to play to a song. So they're really, really good at playing to the song and knowing what the song's about, and so I don't have to guide them very much. It's a bit of a holiday project for me. I just have to write the songs and sing them and play acoustic guitar.
My 3 favourite words, Carp. Play the song.
You know, Ron, it's such a big thing, you know, that people just won't do it because the agenda is to try and get the impressive part of yourself on the record. Whereas we've all done it so much now that we don't have any insecurities about that. We're very respectful of the song. I've been working very hard on my craft as a songwriter for the last couple of years, and I think my writing's gotten better. And I want people to play to the song, and these guys do it without me even having to tell them. A funny story about the Cuban Hills: we did a record launch gig last Friday night. And we were playing 4 new songs from the new record as well as a bunch of the old ones. And there was no opportunity for us to rehearse. And it dawned on me on the day of the gig that 4 of these songs we'd never actually played as an ensemble because we tracked the record in a bits and pieces kind of way. Oops. And I'd never done them, apart from doing the vocal on the record. No rehearsal, we just kind of called them out and we played the whole set pretty much faultlessly. And I was I kind of expected it from them. But it's still amazing when it happens that way, and that's the high regard that I keep those guys in, and I can throw pretty much anything at them, and I do.
Yeah.
and they deliver it on all counts, and they're great people to be with. We enjoy each other as friends enjoy each other.
It's something special when you've got good synergy inside a unit, and that's exactly what you're talking about there. Now, Carp, mate, April Family. So the other one, let's talk about this because this is a different world, right? Different oyster.
The April Family is another kind of Americana or country sort of project that seems to be evolving. This is a project that my good friend and my studio assistant, Kylie Whitney, who I produced her record a couple of years ago, and she's a great singer. Had been relatively inexperienced back then, but she's piling on the experience right now. Great singer, great writer, and we did her kind of acoustic electronic folk sort of record a couple of years ago. And at the end of it, she'd said, "Look, I want to make a country record at some point too." And when we were doing this show supporting her record, Casey Atkins, also the guitar player in the Cuban Hills, and one of my best mates, and still pretty much my first call guitar player for anything because he puts up with my jokes and drives me to gigs. I said, well, we should, and he was playing in Kylie's band, and we were having, as these things happen, we were just having a conversation one night, and we just went, we should start a band together. You know, those are conversations that just happen. Laugh. A few months later, me and Kylie have a conversation, and she says, we should probably do this. And we talked about what it would be, and it would be a trio, it would be the 3 of us, all of us contributing songwriting. The idea behind it is Kylie gets to be the singer and the lyric writer, generally. Casey gets to be the guitar player guy, and I get to do all the other stuff. So I'm the co-writer, and I play drums and bass and guitars and keyboards and produce and engineer and all that sort of stuff. So we all get to do the thing that we really like to do in this project. And that's been great. Again, we've been working on that record now for about 14 or 15 months, and it's just finished now. We released a single earlier in the year called 1943, and the one that seems to be still doing really well for us is the second single, which is called You're Someone That I Never Knew. And we're just kind of deciding on the next single now. And we've been doing some shows this year, so we've been building up the shows as a trio, as the three of us, working on our harmonies and just making sure that we can do that as an acoustic thing, and then augment it with a rhythm section whenever we need it, and it's coming along really, really well.
How you finding the response from your audience with the April Family Carp? Is it in a market where you're happy with it?
Yeah, mate, I'm really happy with it. Look, part of it, and as you know, with the conversations that we've had before, fellas, is there's always a kind of me sussing out how the industry works and seeing the performance of a 49-year-old man on CMC and country radio as opposed to a really pretty girl in her early 30s. And so the response to that has been pretty good because people do respond to the visuals of us. And Kylie's got a really distinct kind of vibe going on. She's a country singer with dreadlocks and piercings and a really pretty face and a great soulful country voice. And the reaction has been about as good as we could possibly imagine being. People have really gotten behind it. They really understand the breadth of it. And I think that the next single we're going to pull out is going to show a further extreme of that. The other great thing about it is Casey, the guitar player, was never a writer. And we've been really pushing him to write for this record. So he's ended up with 3 co-writes in the record, and they're 3 of the more different songs. There's a rockabilly thing, a straight down the line Patsy Cline kind of thing. And that's been really great in terms of giving the project a sense of breadth. So it's not just another one of my projects, which it certainly isn't.
So, Michael, talking about songwriting, your next project we're going to talk about is with a guy called Alan Caswell, who's a phenomenal songwriter. Mate, tell us a bit about that. Tell us about the single. I love the single, by the way. It is an awesome song, mate. So tell us how that came about.
Well, look, I met Kaz a few years ago. I actually recorded one of his songs for a song that he had written with some kids in Judy, I think, as part of kind of a program. A song called She's in Love with Herself ended up on my big radio record, my solo power pop record that came out towards the end of last year and early this year. And he'd been put together with me through my publisher, Film More Like at Origin Music. And this year we decided we'd kind of write some more together. Like he wrote that one in isolation. We got together one day just to see whether we could write anything. And we wrote a cracker of a song. This is probably in March this year. And he said, I really enjoyed that, right? He said, writing sessions can be hit and miss, but I really thought this was a good one. So we did another one about a month later, and we came up with 2 that day. And so basically whenever he's not touring, he gets in touch with me and says, look, I'm going to be off the road for a couple of weeks. At this point, can we squeeze it a day? And so we're up to about number 6 now. We were up to about number 6. And then at the last writing session, we went and had lunch halfway through. We'd written a song in the morning, a really beautiful song in the morning. And at lunchtime, we said, look, we should release one of these songs. And I mean, oh, come on, Alan, you've got a new record. I've got like 8 projects already going at the moment. That'd be a bit confusing. And then he went, oh, look, it's up to you, man. But he said, this stuff's really good, and it'd be really great for me to have a song that's got a bit more guts to it, and for you to probably have a song with a guy who's been a legit country songwriter. Because for the listeners out there, I am kind of entering into a new territory for me. While I'm quite established in a whole bunch of worlds as a guitar pop kind of guy, and I've made a lot of records as a country producer, as a country artist, I'm not really the person that people think about. So I thought about it, and I still thought it was going to be too hard. We had too many things on. And then after we came back from lunch, we were talking. Me and Alan spent a lot of time just talking, more time talking than we do writing. But that's where the songs often are, like in the conversations. We were both talking about how, he's in his 60s now and he's having the best time of his career. And I asked him, I said, so, why is it so good now? He said, well, I've lost a lot of the fears of being a young man trying to make it in this industry, and now I just do whatever I want. And then he was playing something else, and the term back when I was older came into my head, and it is that concept of, when we're younger, we think that everything is so critical to our lives. What we don't realise is our lives, like our 20s, are just one of the chapters in a very, very long story. And that you think you're going to define yourself by your 20s, but often you spend a lot of the time in your 30s and 40s trying to make up for the things that you decide in your 20s. And we had a long conversation about that, and then the song came pretty easily, actually. It was, we both, and Alan's had a colourful history and lots of success and a lot of time in the wilderness and then coming back, and I'm in the same boat where I just continue to try to keep on inventing different parts of what I can do. And the older you get, you had anxieties and stuff like that, but you tend to value every day and every achievement just a little bit more, and it makes you want more, and that's certainly been me over the last couple of years. We wrote the song he had to go into the other studio with Matt to record a vocal, and by the time he came to get back in, I worked out a tempo, worked out that slide riff, recorded my vocal, then he recorded his vocal, he went home, and by the time I actually went to a gig, and by midnight that night the track was finished. And I sent it through to him to listen to the rough mix. He said, all sounds great. I mixed it the next day, mastered it the next day. I think that was on Thursday. We did the video on the Tuesday and it was out of radio the following Thursday. And I love that we're in a time where we can just do that, you know. It was a good idea and it was a good song, and I'm really happy that people have been responding to it for all the right reasons.
Yeah,
so not
great song, man. It's a really good song.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who listen to country music who are aware, who've been through a lot and understand that, and certainly a lot of kind of my friends and contemporaries, they're getting their second wind when they get into the part of their life when they can kind of really go after things again. And I think that that's what the song's about.
So, Michael, you're a producer, studio owner. He's got the cap on. You can see it right there. Got over 500 album credits to your name. Drummer, bass player, guitarist, songwriter, solo artist. Got the Cuban Heels. Working with Alan Caswell, the Super Hip. Apparently you do over 100 gigs a year as well. I don't know when you do that.
Have we missed any?
Is there anything else that we've missed? Or
Oh, yeah.
I take videos.
A teacher.
videos? A teacher?
He's a teacher.
I'm a lecturer. I'm writing a book on record production.
He edits in bloody magazines.
Look, and I love it. I love it when people say that to me. I see. I'm sure that must seem like a lot to other people, but to me it's just life. That's just kind of
Sounds
life.
like a lot to me.
Yeah.
I'm busy. You're busy. We're not that busy.
That's the thing, but for me, I don't know, man. I've been given some abilities, you know, the ability to play some instruments and hear music a particular way. And as you guys out there will listen to or get your head around, I can talk a lot. So it's just a matter of just putting all of these things together and turning it into something that you can create a life out of. And a life is different to creating a living out of it, because make no mistake about it, there isn't a big living being made out of this in any way. But, you know, you think about the currency of life, and it's a big choice. It's a constant decision that I know that a lot of my contemporaries are always dealing with, is how much of this great stuff can we do and still balance off family responsibilities, you know, security and stuff like that. And it's an ever changing tightrope. But while you've got the opportunity to do stuff, you've got to do it, and you've got to keep on continuing to set the bar high for yourself in terms of expecting more of yourself. I don't like the idea. I mean, I turned 50 next year, and I've got friends who just kind of have switched off at this age, just kind of go, oh, that's it, I've kind of done enough, I can't do anything else from this point. And I'm just getting going. I think I'm just starting to get the hang of how to learn things and the processes to get through learning processes and stuff like that. So yeah, it may seem like a lot, but for me, I'm put on this earth with particular abilities, and why I wouldn't push them as far as I possibly can, that's not really an option for me.
Yep.
It's bound to be successful with something, you know.
Yeah. Look, there's nothing I don't like about what you just said there. That was really good.
I think you missed a very valuable. You said, "Oh, look, it's a gift that I've got." I see one gift that you haven't announced, and that's the one that you don't need sleep. You miss that bit, because it's like you must be working on like an hour's sleep and 19 coffees a day, Carl.
I've made a pretty conscious choice at the start of this year that my time to get stuff done was after my wife and kids went to bed. And so that means I'm regularly starting something at 10 o'clock at night, and you have to think that anything you're going to do, you're going to put a good 3 hours into, and then after that you need to kind of wind down from it. So it's not unusual for me to start a mix or a YouTube tutorial thing at 10 o'clock, or a magazine article at 10 o'clock and go through until about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then have half an hour of just chilling out and relaxing. So going to sleep at 2 and waking up at 7 or something like that. It's 5 hours, it's fine. Every once in a while I wear myself out and I have to get a good 7 hours, but sleep is for the week or something like that, isn't it? So I've got a lot of things I want to do, and so I make that choice, and the fact that I'm doing things that I really enjoy mean that it can sustain me. But there are times we all get tired,
So, mate, in all the spare time that you obviously have, do you get a chance to have a listen to the new music that's out there? Who do you think who's next on the block to burst through? Do you think?
There's one of the great things about our situation, especially at the moment, because I'm doing a lot of co-writing, is I'm writing with a lot of younger people coming through, and with my publishing deal with Origin Music, they're hooking me up with people who are younger writers who may need mentoring, and so I'm always seeing good. It's very interesting to get a feel of who's out there and what they're doing and stuff like that. I mean, I'm pretty excited about a girl called Anna Georgia as well, who she's coming through. I've written a song with her. I wrote some with Hannah Marsden a little while ago, and I think that she's just at the beginning of working out what she can do. People like Greta Ziller are people who I think are just amazing, amazing talents. You know, I can't wait to see what they come up with. You put me on the spot here with that, but there's a lot of good people coming through who are just starting to find their own voice. One of the things that I'm really encouraged by, and it's always been my attitude in terms of a record making point of view, is if you can get the good ones young enough and give them the confidence in the studio for them to spend a couple of albums finding their voice in a free sort of way, you know. And that's one of the things about the way that we make records a lot for the studios, is we try and make them in a way where it can be affordable and still be kind of top quality, is the fact that they can grow through things. I mean, look, one of my favourite artists over the last couple of years is Dane Lumsden, who made a record with Matt Feld next door. And I'm a massive fan of her, and her record last year was pretty much my album of the year. And she's only just starting to get the hang of what she can do, you know, and I think she's an amazing one to watch. Katie Brianna is another one. She's a friend of mine, but she's probably one of the better singers that I've ever heard. And certainly I played in the band for her record launch, and singing two-part harmony with her was a real masterclass in how to sing. It's a real singer. So there's no shortage of good people out there. I think it's just a matter of keeping them encouraged and keeping them supported enough that they can find ways of making it work with their life. And that's trickier now that the industry is what it is, you know, where there isn't people buying CDs, but they still want access to music and people still want to make music. So the trick is just finding a way of keeping the young people sustained enough that they can find out how good they actually are. I think there's good things, a lot of good people out there. And it makes me really sad when they sit there and go, well, I haven't got the opportunity to make another record now because I can't afford to, or the opportunities didn't come on the first one, or whatever it is. There's a lot more at stake now. I mean, you guys can see it all the time through your interviews. A lot more at stake with, you know, I've got to make this record work, or if it doesn't work, then I can't afford to do another one. And that's a crime for me, because I've had plenty of shots to make my next thing, you know, and you've got to find ways to make it happen.
Mate, where can we find you, Carp? I know we're going to do another interview with you again, because we're not even scratching the surface, you know, of what I think we should get with you.
The thing I always say, fellas, is I'm always surprised, because I reckon I'm the easiest man on the internet to find. The more of my ex-girlfriends haven't come and hunted me down. What does it say about me, fellas? I don't know.
I know. What do you got, mate? You got a website? Where studio website? What have we got? What are your links?
The website for me as an artist is mcarp, M for Michael, and carp.com. That doesn't get updated as often as I'd like to, because most of my interactions have been done with my Facebook pages. So there's Facebook pages for me, the soul artist, the Michael Carpenter and the Cuban Heels, the April family, me as a record producer, and if I really like you can become my actual friend in my real life persona, where it's where it mostly happens. But I'm pretty easy to find if anybody wants to come and hunt me down. There's tons and tons of videos up on YouTube as well, which seems to be the place where everybody goes, as you can see, as part of this series with Country Music World, YouTube, as you can see by Mick there. So there's plenty of videos, and I'm pretty easy to find if anybody wants to come and ask me some questions.
Mate, we're going to make sure all of your links, and there's going to be, can you imagine the description?
Oh, great.
Below, there's going to be this much of links for you, but we're going to make sure every single one are there, and we'll go through them. We'll do our best not to miss any. We're going to catch you again in the not too long future, Mick, because I think there's going to have to be another part 2 of this, and a part 3 and a part 4, and then we'll delve into each project as itself. Then we'll go in and we might do some industry insider stuff with you. I think this is probably the first of many chats we're going to do with Carp.
Well, I love being part of what you guys are doing. I think it's a great thing for the Australian country music kind of industry to have something like this going on, giving the artists a really definite voice with good questions, and and you guys to do.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. And I hope it continues to build the way it is. But you know what, mate? On behalf of Jay and myself, we wish you, everyone here at the Country Music World, we wish you all the best in your future. And you said it perfectly. you're just getting started. And so we're going to sit here and enjoy the ride with you, mate. And thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, fellas. Thanks a lot for having me. Take it easy.
No worries, mate. Did you like that interview and want to see some more just like it? Then check them out right there.
We've got artist interviews, we've got the CMW Country Artist of the Week chart as voted by you, and we also have heaps of weekly prize giveaways.
So give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because together we can make a difference in the country music world.